Hey folks, welcome to week 7 of online AP Stats. We are coming down to the wire here on third quarter, and we have a very tight schedule to wrap up the quarter. So before I talk about the Chapter 9 retake, I want us to look at the schedule. If you take a look at it, you're going to notice last week already, Friday was your first day of Chapter 10. Typically, we've had that day off. You did not. So if you did not start Chapter 10 material yet, you need to start it ASAP. If you look at the schedule, incredibly tight deadlines. So again, Friday is when you're supposed to start it. You have a mid-chapter deadline for Chapter 10 this Thursday. So what you need to get done on that one, let's take a quick look. If you go into the chapter, you are going to have to cover basically all of section 10.1, which isn't too bad. Now, the one thing about chapter 10, 11, and 12 going forward, they are now only 2 sections long. So the mid-chapter here is just that first section. What you are going to have to finish is 3 days of traditional type day of work for chapter 10.2, the FRQ at the end, your review, and get ready for the test. Now, I say that because let's go back to the schedule again. Very, very little cushion room in here. So if we take a look at it, again, this is our start of this week. Here's your deadline for all those 2 daily assignments, basically for section 10.1. Then you are going to have to finish the rest of the work. Our scheduled test day would have been the 14th. This is the all-school ACT exam where most of you will be taking that. So 11th graders, you're going to be there. 12th graders, you don't. So that's not a big deal for you. However, the test was scheduled for that day, so we're not going to have it that day. This entire week here is all going to be traditional days. So it falls on this is that the Chapter 10 test would be during your SPP on Wednesday, March 13th. If you're involved in DECA, your test date is still Wednesday, March 13th. So you really, really need to plan ahead, especially if you're involved in any activities that are going to have you be out of the building any part of the start of this week. Now, here's the option I will give you. I think it's smart to have the test scheduled for Wednesday. 11th graders, I think it's smart for you to take it then. However, if people would rather take their Chapter 10 test on Friday, during your scheduled SPP, I would support that. So here's what I'm going to have you do is send me an email. Every single one of you need to email me this week and tell me, when would you like to take your Chapter 10 test? Would you prefer Wednesday or would you prefer Friday? I need to know. And it has to be during your SPP. If you have multiple SPPs, I will tell you which SPP will probably have to work for that one in case I have some overlap. I should have a little bit of flexibility, but sometimes I do not have flexibility because of multiple test takers. But just email me and I will get back to you directly on that one. Okay. Keep in mind, if you defer Chapter 10's test until Friday, which would be fine, we technically are starting Chapter 11 then. Chapter 11 material is going to be started. You are going to have a mid-chapter deadline right before spring break. You're going to have all the work for 11.1 completed by the end of the day on Thursday, the 21st. So we have 3 deadlines in these next 3 weeks. So if you're involved in sports, activities, anything like that, going on spring break, you really, really need to plan ahead. Not any wiggle room within here. So again, we have one deadline here, another either this Wednesday or Friday, and then on that Thursday. Let's talk about when we get back from break. When we get back from break, we're going to really almost be wrapping up the material. If you take a look at this, you do have one more summative test left. You're going to test on that Thursday after spring break on Chapter 11. That is your last summative exam, and it does go into your 4th quarter grade. Then all we are doing is 2 days of section 2.1 for Chapter 12. We will not be testing on Chapter 12. We don't have time for it. And it is one section I'm very comfortable cutting from the content because they rarely ask you any questions on it. After that, we're going to start our review and get ready for an 18-day review to get you ready for, on our calendar, right, your May 7th exam. So pretty tight deadlines here, folks. Really stay on top of that. Let me know what questions you have in your learning. So based on that, let's talk about now your retake if you're interested. The retake's going to have a really tight deadline too. Again, you're going to want to go into the Chapter 9 folder, go down into the testing folder, and read about the retake. I will let you just do the multiple choice, the free response, or both. Again, the Chapter 3 review free response that was in this test is not retakeable, only the Chapter 9 content. Now, if we look at this window, here's the deal. I have some other students still testing because they've been gone for activities. The test for Chapter 9 will not be released for you to look at until after second hour on Tuesday. So Tuesday the 5th, after second hour, you can come and look at your exams. The retake has to be during win time on the 7th if you plan to do that. I would give you an option to retake the following week, but I can't. There's no win times. So this is the only time you could retake the Chapter 9 test if needed. Lots of information here. Please listen to this. Ask me any questions that you need. And also, the last thing though, read the posts. I have been doing a handful of posts in here in the updates. If you go to the updates, with exception to doing our weekly updates, I have actually given you 2 updates about different content that tend to be tested on that you really need to be solid on if you want to do well on this exam. The first is p-value. Read about what p-value is. The next is this one about sample size and variability. And if you haven't seen the other ones, I've also done the posts, right, about what a good write-up looks like. This announcement here tells you how to construct good confidence intervals and everything that is expected. So please make sure you are looking at these updates. I'm doing these updates for you so you understand what's expected of you so you can do well on this exam and get yourself some college credit. So anyway, enough of our update for this week. Have a great one, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.